Okay, we're back in the studio here, and we're going to edit the public service message that we just did. At the beginning here, this is probably me clearing my throat and taking a big breath right here, and all of that needs to be taken out. So I'm just going to highlight that, and we'll just hit play and play it real quick and make sure that it's nothing that we need to keep, but I'm pretty sure that needs to come out of there. Yep. Yep, that's me clearing my throat and taking a big breath. We don't need any of that, so now that I got that highlighted, I can just hit delete, and then that's gone. Then I'm going to hit this button to take us to the beginning of the track and hit play, and we'll see how it starts out.
Here's your local traffic update.
You can hear me smacking my lips there just a little bit, and there's a slight pause, so we're going to take that down. So we don't want more than about a half a second before this thing starts. So if I highlight that, it says at the bottom of the screen how long it is, so that's like 7/10 of a second. So I'm just going to get that out of there. And there's one little lip smack here that I want to take out, and I want that space though because we don't want it to be too tight at the beginning. So I'm just going to transform that to silence. Okay, and I think that's probably about right for the start. Let's try that.
Here's your local traffic update, underwritten in part by the Mediterranean Market and Grill on McHenry Avenue. The city...
Okay, and you can hear me taking a breath here, and there's a little more pause than I want. So I'm just going to take that out. And then the pause here between those two sentences is probably about right. Let's try that.
On McHenry Avenue. The city of Modesto has been slowly...
Okay, that's great. And let's just look down the waveform here a little farther to see if there's some more breathing or lip smacking that needs to come out. Here's a little piece there. Yep. And I see another one right here probably. Yep, don't need that. Now they don't seem really bad here, but once we run it through the radio station equipment, it's really brought up and it's much more noticeable on the air. So we want to fix that here before it actually gets broadcast. I probably want to have a little bit of that space there, so we'll just take out that inhale. And moving down the line here, here's another one.
Campus. And also in...
You can hear me sucking air in there. So let's go ahead and hit that one. I'm going to highlight it and transform silence. And we'll just make that go away. And the farther you get through your copy, chances are the bigger breaths you're going to be taking because you're going to be running out of air more and more. I don't know what that is.
Air drive. Completion is scheduled for this month.
Part of the word.
Minor drive. Completion is...
That was actually part of that word at the end of the syllable. So we'll keep that. Here's one I want to just silence out. Oops, wrong button.
Minor delays are possible. And much needed pavement repairs.
There's another big breath that we can take out. We're about halfway through here now. Here's something else.
Boulevard.
You hear me breathing in there. We'll just take that out. Transform silence. Digital editing's great. This would have taken an hour and a half with a razor blade and magnetic tape, which is the way we used to do it back in the Stone Age. There's another one. Let's go ahead and just delete that one. Sometimes it's easier to use the keyboard. Here's something else.
219. All along Kiernan Avenue.
It picks up everything. You can almost hear my hand gestures. So it's important to go through and just kind of look for things that you might want to take out.
You can expect delays for the next Dale Road. You can expect delay.
Okay, and then we can zoom in on this. If we take the little magnifying glass with the square around it, that's that whole thing. We'll just back off one click on the magnifier, and that's what we want to get rid of, I think, right there. Yep. Let's go ahead and transform silence. You can see that just totally removes any of that from the waveform. What's that? That's some syllable or something.
Next 6 months.
Yep, okay, so it looked like noise, but it was actually part of the word that we needed. And that's one we don't need.
How long do you want your PSAs to be?
Well, you know, the shorter you can do them, the better, because people's attention span not really good because people watch TV, so they really don't expect anything to last more than a few minutes. So if you could get it down to a minute and a half, that's good. You know, you can't really hold anybody's attention for 3 minutes at a time unless you got a beat behind it. So if we could get it down to a minute, that would really be good. It really depends on the content that you're trying to deliver, though. You know, a news story, you can't really get down to that small. Usually 3 or 4 minutes for a news piece. But for these traffic bulletins and stuff, we should be able to bang them out in 1 or 2 minutes. We definitely don't want to have a really long one. A couple of times the interns have done stuff that was of a more complicated nature. There was one about identity theft that we had, and it was about 4.5 minutes long, and it was just too long, I thought. So it's important to try to keep things moving, keep the tempo and pace up with the rest of the broadcast. So let's try to do that here. And then all these little breaths and stuff we're taking out will help us get this down. This will probably be a minute and 15 seconds when we're done. We'll probably take out 15 seconds of that kind of stuff.
From commercial...
Yeah, see, now we're just about done here. We just got the little trim up at the end, I think.
6.
Yep, okay, now at the end of this thing, there's a whole bunch of dead air, and then me talking, and you definitely don't want to leave that in, have it wind up on the radio. So we're just going to take this last section at the end, which is... it's really long. It's like almost 3 seconds of something there, and we'll just take that out, and then it'll end right here with the call sign or the slogan.
Data, the all-new X106.
Beautiful. Okay, now we'll just hit the magnifying glass with the big book, and we can look at the whole thing right now. There's no big pauses or breaths in there. The only thing I don't like is that we're peaking up above the 0 line here. So what I'm going to do is change the amplitude of the whole thing. So we're going to go transform, amplitude, amplify. And I'm just going to lower the whole recording about 1 dB. And the easiest way to do that is hit the cut 3 dB button and then adjust the slider or punch in the box here that we want to go down minus 1.0. Then I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to save the waveform, do the amplification, which is actually a decrease of amplification in this case. Now all the peaks are below the warning line there on both ends. That's perfect. So we're right in the right zone that we want. One other thing we could do now is run dynamic effects on it and make everything from a whisper to a scream come out the same volume. Not really necessary for this station, but it does add a professional touch to some stuff sometimes if you're sending it out to other stations. Great. And that came out great. We wound up with 1 minute and 18 seconds, so we managed to trim off 12 seconds of pauses and dead air out of the thing. So we got it down to way under 1.5 minutes, so I'm pretty happy with the runtime on that. Any questions, Brenda?
No, I think that covers everything.
Okay, and you'll notice how I ended with the slogan, and in a few of the sentences I ended up. It's a lot better to end up at the end of the sentence rather than going down. So down just takes a lot of energy out of what you're doing. So a lot of times it's helpful for you to artificially push up at the end of the sentence instead of let things kind of trail off in a downward trend. So remember to always be positive and smile.
Why he talks a good talk, 'cause I will never lie. I guess I realize I need a man.
Okay, this is the best part. We're going to hear it on the radio next.
My man.
Here's your local traffic update, underwritten in part by the Mediterranean Market and Grill on McHenry Avenue. The city of Modesto has been slowly widening its Pellendale Avenue from Dale Road to McHenry Avenue. Commuters can expect delays during working hours. And after nearly 6 months, the Salida Boulevard project is nearing completion, with delays expected throughout the month. And new traffic signals are being constructed for Tully Road at Stoddard Avenue near MJC's East Campus, and also in front of the mall at Sisk Road at Vintage Fair Drive. Completion is scheduled for this month. Minor delays are possible. And much-needed pavement repairs are planned on the water utility trenches in front of the city of Modesto's golf course.
And that's it for today's lesson on making PSAs and station IDs. Thank you very much, Brad Johnson.